Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD Starcraft, and of course I'm here to bring you guys another Heart of the Swarm broadcast. And if you guys are wondering why the hell Meals are currently mining minerals right now, this game was actually played on April 1st when Blizzard decided to officially troll all of us and give the Warhound skin to all of the workers in Starcraft 2. So yeah, these are still SCVs, they still have 45 HP, etc, but they are Warhound skin just for fun. Anyways, this game was played in the Team Story Cup, and it was played between Team Liquid and Team Root. And allow me to introduce the blue Terran player in the bottom right hand corner. It is Liquid.Taeja. And many consider Taeja to be the best Terran player on Team Liquid. In fact, whenever Taeja plays for Team Liquid, it's basically Team Taeja versus whoever. And Taeja is just a total boss. He's pretty rock solid. Anyways, his opponent is going to be the red Zerg player in the top left-hand corner, and his name is Yu-Gi-Oh! And he's actually one of the new pickups for Team Root. His name is Jung, I believe, and recently acquired from Team Slayers, which is now, of course, disbanded. Anyways, let me give you guys a little bit of a preface on this game, because these two have actually played 2 games together already in this series. And yes, Taeja is going for a proxy Rax right now, but Taeja so far has been creaming Yu-Gi-Oh! I saw these games, and Taeja has been beating down Yu-Gi-Oh! The first game they played, he went for proxy Rax, as he's doing right now. And the second game they played, he went for a bunker rush at the natural, and he's been just killing Yu-Gi-Oh! And Taeja is just, he's just that damn good. Whenever you see Taeja play, it's very hard for him to be stopped. He's just a monster. So we'll see here in this third game if Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to be able to finally put a stop to the bleeding and stop the hurt, because so far he has just been getting creamed. Anyways, that's the little preface I thought I'd give you. This is the third game, and I've been told it is the best one. And as always, if you guys have any sick replays, feel free to send them in to HDreplays@gmail.com, and I will take a look at them. Make sure to leave a link and a description, and I'll go ahead and try to cast it. Anyways, here comes Taeja. He's coming in with the bunker. And hello, Yu-Gi-Oh! He's building a bunker right now behind the hatchery. This is the exact same thing he did in Game 2. Proxy bunkered the natural. And this time he's going to be going for Reapers. And you know what? The great thing about Heart of the Swarm Reapers is they don't require a tech lab. Now, they don't do as much damage anymore. In fact, they only do 4 damage. So they don't kill workers in 2 hits anymore. But they're so cheap because of the lack of tech lab requirement. They're faster, they regenerate out of combat, they are better than they were in Wings of Liberty. And you can see here that Reaper is going to come in. Now, one Reaper isn't going to be able to kill the drones very easily, and in fact, Yu-Gi-Oh! Very smart here is pulling the workers that are hurt. Oh, he just lost one right there, but he is trying to pull the workers that are hurt to hide away from the Reaper. And look at that, he builds it into another building, so he's making evolution chambers here to try to keep the drones alive, which is really, really smart. But it looks like the bunker over here is complete, and here comes a new Reaper. It is going to hop inside. The other Reaper joins him as well. And I guess we have 2 Reapers inside this bunker, and this is not a good start for Yu-Gi-Oh! In the second game that they played 3 already. This is the third game. In the second game they played, he actually lost the hatchery on Newkirk Precinct at the natural, and he basically lost the game because of that. Is he going to be able to recover here is the question. He cannot lose his hatchery. Is there a third Reaper on the way? No, it looks like the Proxy Rax is returning home, and the Reapers have evacuated the bunker. It looks like they've decided they can't kill it off, salvage the bunker as Taeja recovers his money. Now these Reapers are going to try to get a couple more drone kills. He's only killed a couple so far. He does actually get a scout behind the mineral line, and look at that, we have a Roach Warren coming up. So, a couple of things here which are interesting to note. Usually when you go for Proxy Reaper, that does prompt the Zerg player to go for Roach Warren. But the thing is, if you have an extractor and a spawning pool already, typically you're just going to get gas to try to counter that, get Zergling speed and try to get Zergling speed out to try to counter the Reapers. And Reapers aren't as big of a threat to your workers as they were before, because they do less damage. So I feel like now that Taeja has scouted out this Roach Warren, he's got to be a little bit concerned about the possibility that the Zerg player is going to try to go for a Roach bus. And in fact, we have 4 Roaches in production right now, so I do think we are going to see some type of a early Roach attack from Yu-Gi-Oh! Here. And that Reaper just got the full scout off. I mean, he didn't get a full scout, but he did see the Roaches incoming. And so Taeja can prepare his front door accordingly. Now look at that. That is so nice. For siege tanks now, you don't need to research siege mode anymore. As soon as you get a siege tank out, it has siege mode automatically, and that is going to help Taeja so much when it comes to defending against these early roaches. And he's even gone for a macro command center, so I guess Taeja's just Taeja-ing it up right now. He's doing what he does best. But I gotta say, Yu-Gi-Oh, if he can get any type of damage done here, he might actually be able to, for once, take a lead in this series, because so far he has just been getting creamed by Taeja. Now, I don't think he can actually kill off this orbital, not with the second siege tank out, but perhaps, wow, that is pretty confident from Taeja. He's going to drop some meals down. Now, these meals are in some trouble. I think Yu-Gi-Oh can snipe them both off, and he is going to do just that. Very nice play, and now he's going to use the Overlord to scout the high ground and maybe pick off another siege tank. And that, I think, was really worth it. He's going to lose, wow, nice surround on the roach. He's going to lose, 4 roaches, but he kills 2 mules and a siege tank, and I think that is definitely worth it. At the cost of just a couple of roaches. Not bad from Yu-Gi-Oh! And I've got to say, for the first time in this set of games, now I didn't cast the other games like I said before, but I did give you guys a bit of a preface. For the first time, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is actually looking, pretty good. He is going for another hatchery right now over on the top right-hand side. And he is making a lot of speedlings. Now, he is going for that delayed metabolic boost. Originally, he used the gas for the roaches. So I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh! Is... I don't think Taeja is going to be prepared for this. He's got siege tanks, he's got marauders, but because he went for early tanks, he's not going to have that many marines, and speedlings are just going to absolutely overwhelm him, and Taeja's not going to be prepared for this at all. These Zerglings are now coming in. The bunker, the supply depots do go up, but one tank is going to go down, and the SCVs and mules are in so much trouble. They are using the stack micro to try to get out of harm's way. Taeja is just the expert at this. Now going to try to run it back home, but the supply depot's blocking the SCVs in, and I think Taeja, they're trying to make a decision. Do I lower the depot and let the SCVs in, thereby allowing the Zerglings in? And I think he made the right decision. Stack the SCVs on the supply depot and, keep them safe and keep the base safe. But meanwhile, his natural expansion is just getting completely overrun, and he is losing a ton of workers here. And finally, the Hellions coming out, which is really what Taeja needed all along in order to deal with speedlings. And you can't blame him for not making Hellions. He saw roaches. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is trying to throw every trick in the book at Liquid.Taeja right now to try to get this victory in the Team Story Cup. And I think so far he's doing a pretty damn good job. This is the best game I've seen from Yu-Gi-Oh! So far. And look at the workers killed. He's killed 19 workers already. So things are really looking good for the Zerg player, but the one X factor here is Taeja has a macro CC, so he can afford to lose workers. He can remake SCVs and mules very quickly. And I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Going to try to go in here for yet another ground assault, but this time there are Hellions there, and the SCVs and mules trying to surround the Hellions and using hold position micro to keep them alive. Very, very intelligent play right there. Now a couple of mules might go down, and it looks like they will, but in the meantime, there is a medevac coming in from Taeja, and Taeja is the pro at this, man. He knows when to drop and how to excrete the maximum amount of pain on his opponent, and he is going in there with that medevac. Now, this time around, it looks like the queen was in position, so Yu-Gi-Oh! Very smartly has a queen there, also has a spore crawler coming up, and it looks like he defends against Taeja's drop, which is something that he's been having a little bit of problems with so far in this series. So that time, very good job from him. Taeja now taking the time to go ahead and wall off at least one area of his natural in order to protect against the possibility of additional Zergling run-bys. And in fact, that is the entire area of his natural. I didn't actually get a glance over here. But very nice job so far from Taeja. He is now pushing on the ground. He needs to try to get a little bit of damage done against Yu-Gi-Oh! Here. Great pickup and using Ignite Afterburners. And now going to try to boost it into the Zerg main. And in fact, it doesn't look like Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to see this attack coming in, although he does have a couple of Zerglings in position. And meanwhile, a couple of Hellions on the right-hand side trying to burn down the fourth hatchery, but Yu-Gi-Oh! Is already in position. Great plays from both of these players. But will Taeja be able to get any damage done with these Marines? It looks like he might finally be able to get a little bit of revenge and try to get a couple of drones off, but the Zerglings are already here, and once again, Yu-Gi-Oh! Able to keep things under control. But I'm looking at the top right-hand corner, And I'm looking at the supplies here. It's only 98 to 89. And you'd think after killing off 21 workers that the Zerg player would be a lot further ahead against Taeja than he currently is. You know, unfortunately that isn't the case for the Zerg simply because of that macro CC and simply because he's playing against a god like Taeja. So he's going to have to go above and beyond in order to win this game. And oh, this is bad for the Zerg. Taeja is going to be able to take out this hatchery. Great attack here with 1-1 Marines and Stim. And he snipes down that hatchery almost instantly. Unfortunately for Yu-Gi-Oh, his Zerg forces were out of position. And it looks like right now he is going around the left-hand side of the map, gonna try to once again attack and find another expansion. And Taeja does have an orbital command over here on the left. This was originally the macro CC, and Yu-Gi-Oh springing the trap card here to try to take out some SCVs and meals. Unfortunately, it looks like Taeja has a couple of reinforcements here, and I don't really think this circling run by is going to get too much done. Just pushing the worker kill count up to 22. Meanwhile, in the production tab, we do have Mutalisk coming out as Taeja now has, as Yu-Gi-Oh now has reached tier 2 and is starting to produce air units. Now, these mutas might be able to get inside the main and get a little bit of damage done. There aren't really any missile turrets, but missile turrets are currently on the way. So Taeja just has that sixth sense. He knows. You know, he just has that feeling that Mutalisks are coming, and he gets the missile turrets up just at the right time. Beautiful game sense from Taeja. He seals off the wall over here with a missile turret as well, because why not? Although a couple of Zerglings there might stop that. There are Banelings on the way as well, as Baneling Nest just finished up. And when a Zerg player goes Mutalisks, typically, you know, you want to go Banelings in order to support them against the Marine tank composition. And looks like Taeja here now is on 3 bases. The Zerg player is on 4. And if Yu-Gi-Oh can just keep this up, if he can not lose another base, he should be okay. He's actually going to be going in here into this Valley of Death. I don't know about this. The siege tank sieges up and the Marines just fall back, and that was not a good engagement by the Zerg player. And I feel like slowly but surely, somehow, some way, Taeja is squeaking his way back into this game. It's almost like watching poetry. It's like watching art. Because you know, Taeja was losing this game in the beginning. He lost 20 or so workers, but he's been able to grind it out and get back in because of his macro CC. And although that medevac going down definitely does not help, but I feel like Taeja is just doing a great job. Will these Mutalisks be able to swing the game back in favor of the Zerg? Yu-Gi-Oh trying to spring yet another trap card, although there are so many Marines here. I don't think this is a good idea. Meanwhile, a couple of Zerglings trying to go for a run by into the third expansion, but looks like they are actually able to make their way through, but there are Marines coming back home. Should be able to protect these SCVs before they go down. Meanwhile, another Marine is on a lone mission, finds a new hatchery. Mutalisk also coming in once again for another strike, but there are more Marines here. There's just Marines everywhere for Taeja, although this time there are so many Mutalisks that are able to overwhelm them, and now their production facilities are in a little bit of trouble. Medevacs are going to go down, but boost used at the right time to keep it out of harm's way. Great micro by Taeja. And Yu-Gi-Oh also deciding to extract his forces before he loses any of his Mutalisks. And at the same time, realizing, hey, one of my hatcheries is under attack, and Taeja is going to take down yet another hatch. I mean, that's pretty incredible that he was able to defend against these mutas and launch an assault all the same time, and he deflects the reinforcements before they can arrive and pick off his Marines and tanks. Just a great game so far by the Terran player, although the Zerg is now approaching Hive Tech. And the one thing though is he's got to be able to keep a 4th hatchery alive. He's lost his 4th twice now, once here and once over here. If he loses another hatchery, I just don't see how he can win this game. He's got to maintain a 4th base in order to afford the Hive Tech units that he's trying to get out. Meanwhile, Mutalisks though are coming over on the right hand side as Yu-Gi-Oh tries to get up in here and distract Taeja for just a moment and take out some of these workers. He is going to be able to kill off quite a few, pushing the number up to 32 now. But in the meantime, the Terran army says he doesn't care. Taeja just going to go right for the 4th hatchery again. And he knows, hey, if I can prevent the Zerg from having the 7th and the 8th gas, then his Hive units are not going to be a serious threat. Because without the 7th and 8th gas, it's very hard to afford Ultralisks, Brute Lords, and Infestors. And Taeja knows that. He's once again taken out the 4th hatchery, and now look at this Warhound. I want to be a hatchery, but unfortunately the Zerglings are blocking him, and I think he totally got blocked. He needs a new command there. And Taeja sneaks in with yet another medevac. And this time around, he could go for the spawning. Oh, Banelings are there though. He just still has a couple of troops remaining. It's just a Marauder actually, so I guess this time he won't be able to do any damage inside the main base. But man, he is just all over the place with these drops. His troops are constantly moving, and Yu-Gi-Oh, he's still not really on tier 3. He's still on Lair, Muta, and Baneling, and at this point he needs to be on Ultras. He needs to be Brute Lord Infestor, something, anything. But Muta Baneling, I'm not sure it's going to be able to cut it. Meanwhile, that Marauder is still alive. Oh my god, is he going to kill the spawning pool? That's just a crime, and I don't think it's going to happen. But no, 2 more medevacs coming in. Meanwhile, Zergling's going for a total run-by into the main base. This time, they will be able to make their way through, perhaps, but more Marines are coming through. And at the same time, Taeja takes out a hatchery. There's Mutalisks attacking the left-hand side of the map. There's action all over the place, ladies and gentlemen. Taeja is microing like a beast, but so is Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Able to take out this location right here, pulling back his Zerglings because he was not able to break through into the main base. And what a game this is. So far, though, Taeja still has troops on the offense, though, and he has taken the supply lead 184 to 160, showcasing that beast Terran playstyle. And now coming into the middle of the map with Siege Tanks and Marines, there are still a large pack of Mutalisks in the sky. But hey, guess what? The spawning pool did go down to that drop from Taeja, and because the spawning pool went down, we're not going to see too many more Zerglings and Banelings coming out until it is replenished. And Taeja knows right now this is his time to attack. Without a spawning pool, he shouldn't be facing too many ground troops. Although it does look like Yu-Gi-Oh was able to bank up a decent amount before, before the pool went down. And we'll see what happens here. But once again, the problem for the Zerg player is he doesn't have a 4th hatchery, and that's just starting to really compound this issue of not having enough gas. You can see his resources here. The Terran has got all the gas in the world. The Zerg, he does have a decent amount, but he just can't afford Brute Lords or Ultras. That's the biggest problem right here. And eventually, I feel like staying on Mutatech for this long, I think it might cost him this game. We'll see what happens, though, as he's going to go in once again to the left. If he can pick off these tanks, it's absolutely huge. He does get the snipe on one of them, which isn't too bad at all. Let's pull the units lost tab resources. The Zerg has just lost so much more than Taeja has, 17,000 compared to 10,000. So you guys can see I'm really not really exaggerating this, even though I love Taeja as a player. I mean, he's just crushing Yu-Gi-Oh! 2 games in a row, and this 3rd game, will he be able to get the victory again, unless Yu-Gi-Oh! Can pull off some type of miracle. Meanwhile, another drop occurring inside the main base. Taeja making use of these open drop lanes, and he is going to take out the spawning pool yet again? No, this time he is able to, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is able to save it, so brings back some Zerglings just in the nick of time. Although these Marines now are going to go for the back of the natural, and they're going to take out a ton of drones. 8 drones have gone down already. Finally, the Zerglings and Corruptors coming back, but the Ignite Afterburner's just too fast for you, and Taeja comes in once again to take out the 4th hatchery. I mean, this is exactly how he beats Zerg. He just prevents him from having a 4th hatchery, and he's killed it like the 7th time now. Meanwhile, I think Yu-Gi-Oh! Has said, alright, enough of that. I have to try to just go all in here and attack with everything I've got. The base over here is actually quite exposed, but he decides to bring a lot of his troops back home because his main is once again under attack. And this time the spawning pool yet again goes down. Oh man, just brutal. But he will get a couple of mule kills, or SCV kills here. 47 SCVs have gone down already this game. That's the one thing that is going good for the Zerg player at the very least. But that's not the only aspect that you have to be dominating in. The workers killed. In order to be winning in a game of StarCraft 2, there are just so many aspects that you have to be good at. And unfortunately, killing off, SCVs / Warhounds, that's not the end all be all. And so far, Taeja has proven his worth here once again. Now, what can Yu-Gi-Oh! Do at this point in order to be able to stay in this game and actually maybe even win? I'm not sure. He does have Brute Lords out, finally. But the problem is, Taeja knows, and he's making Vikings. He's making Vikings 4 at a time right now. He's already got 9 on the field, so I don't know if these Brute Lords are going to be too effective. Brute Lords, meet your maker. Now, there are some mutas in order to help defend them, but with so many Marines on the ground, it's very unlikely that the mutas will be able to get much accomplished unless the Banelings just get the hit of all time. If they can connect, then maybe, but we'll see what happens. The hatchery has once again gone down as Taeja asserts his dominance. He is also going to be claiming another base for himself in the middle of the map. And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. I think Taeja is going to go for the death push. There are infestors, though. That's the one unit that Yu-Gi-Oh could really use in his army. If he can get a couple of good fungal growths down, he might still be able to hold off this assault. A lot of Zerglings going for a backside run by into this expansion once again. Expect that worker kill count to continue to skyrocket as Yu-Gi-Oh is just trying to buy time here and turtle up in his main base. But how much longer can he hold out for? I'm not entirely sure. It looks like most of the SCVs here have gone down, so he's cut Taeja down to 3 bases here, which isn't too bad. In fact, Taeja is running pretty low on money himself. I guess this entire time I've been ragging on Yu-Gi-Oh, but Taeja, you know, he hasn't really been keeping a huge base advantage over the Zerg player, even though he's been taking out a lot of the Zerg player's bases. And here comes the Zergling. He's going to be able to take out the supply depots. And it looks like, well, you know what, the supply depots going down isn't too consequential because this base has already been breached. But Yu-Gi-Oh is just trying to fight for survival here, getting a couple of more chain fungals off. He needs to save that energy for the Vikings. And meanwhile, Taeja gets another drop into the main, and the spawning pool is going to go down yet again. Absolutely brutal. And that is, again, just another nail in the coffin for Yu-Gi-Oh! But Yu-Gi-Oh! Is still fighting for survival. It is 163 supply to 177. He's not entirely out of this yet, but he's starting to run a little bit low on fungal growth energy. He needs to get a couple of key fungal growths here on those packs of Marines, but look at the spreading from Taeja. Oh! He actually gets his Marines in position before the fungal growth could land and kills off a couple of infestors. Really nice play. He's going to be able to kill off another hatchery in the top right-hand corner. And all troops now have been ordered to move in, and so has Yu-Gi-Oh's. Yu-Gi-Oh thinking about going for the final engagement here. Now, the problem is all those tanks are just clumped up on that valley, and that makes it very hard for Zerg forces to go ahead and get the surround they need to. Meanwhile, Taeja gets another attack off on this hatchery. He is going to be able to take it down, and nothing that Yu-Gi-Oh can do about that. 150 supply to 181. We're running pretty low on money for both sides, but the problem is Taeja's on the offensive. He can go ahead and expand to one of the new locations, maybe over here or something. He needn't worry about money because he's got map control. Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't have that luxury, and I think he's going to go in with everything he's got here, but unfortunately it's just not going to be enough. Maybe he should use his Warhounds as well, but GG, well played is called, and Taeja takes the victory just all over the place. Sick Terran player. Just showing, you know, he is like literally the best Terran, best player I've probably ever casted in Heart of the Storm so far. He is that damn good, and he just made Yu-Gi-Oh look like it made him look like child's play. Congratulations to Taeja. Just an amazing showcasing of Terran versus Zerg there. Phenomenal. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this game. Hope you guys enjoyed the cast. If you have any sick replays, send them into HDreplays@gmail.com. Feel free to subscribe at YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at HD Starcraft. I'll see you guys in the next cast. And this is HD signing out.